What's up guys, I'm Caden with Crypto Now or Never, and welcome back to another update on CaptainBNB. If you enjoy this style of content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, none of this is financial advice. Let's get into it.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want.
Okay, now as you guys can see at the time of recording this video, Captain's down about 13% in the last day. And you can see that Captain has actually fallen down to, according to DEX Tools, a $2.57 million market cap. If you look at DEX Screener, you can see that it's right around 3 million or 2.9 million. It just depends on whether or not you're including the burn supply. But regardless, you'll notice that today has obviously had a pretty good sized red candle. Now you can see that this candle has gotten bought up a lot, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still a good sized red candle. Now, there are some people out there who are probably wondering why Captain all of a sudden had such a steep drop. And if you look at the transactions, you'll see exactly why. So fair warning, I am recording this video the evening of November 5th, and you won't be seeing this until the morning of November 6th. So there is a chance the price action does change a little bit. However, as we stand right now, you can see that there was about $50,000 worth of CaptainBNB that was sold within a very short time period. You can see that this wallet sold around 25K and then this wallet sold around 25K, 2 transactions each. Now, I'm not saying it's for sure one person, but there's a good chance it's just one person who decided to liquidate their entire holdings. Now, does that impact the project long term? In my personal opinion, absolutely not. I've talked about it many times on the channel before, but you guys know I love to see whenever some of the top holders actually do sell. Obviously, there can be the issue of why they lost conviction. That's always something to question. However, in general, it's good to have supply distribution. So whenever you have these top wallets that sell, that's not a bad thing. It just makes it to where the community in general is able to hold more supply. And I'm going to continue saying the exact same thing that I've been saying for a long time. I believe CaptainBNB has one of the strongest communities out there. You come over and you look at their X account, and they currently have 12.8K followers. But one of the things that I talk about all the time is their community X spaces. You can see that Ming actually just hosted one 2 hours ago. I heavily recommend joining and listening to some of these X spaces. There are a lot of great community members, and there are actually a ton of people who actually sit there and just listen to the X spaces. And the reason that's important is because in general, engagement is very low in the crypto market. So the fact that you still have a lot of people who are just sitting there day in, day out and tuning into the X spaces is crazy. It just shows how much conviction a lot of people have in this project. And I've told you guys all along, this is easily my highest conviction BNB play. I'm not saying that's the safest BNB play out there. However, from a risk to reward standpoint, I love it. It's entirely possible that Captain being under a $3 million market cap could be one of the best discounts out there. If you come over here and you look at the crypto market in general, you guys know that there's been a lot of volatility recently. You can see that Bitcoin is back to 103,400. This is actually important because as you can see, it's actually up 2.8% in the last day. If you look at Ethereum, it's up 6.1% in the last day. But then in the last week, Bitcoin's down 7.2%, Ethereum's down 13.2%. And the levels from a technical analysis standpoint that I've been saying to watch got absolutely nailed. So you can see that price action did end up dropping beneath the 50-day moving average. It had a nice wick beneath it. And the reason that this wick is important is because it liquidates a lot of long positions. Now, the question is where this candle is actually going to close on Sunday. I do not have the answer to that right now, so we definitely want to see where this closes. But if we still close above the 50 weekly moving average for Bitcoin, that is still very bullish. I know a lot of people are super bearish on the market right now, but I just specifically want to point out the stochastics right now. If you look at the stochastics, you can see that we are extremely oversold. What happened the last few times we've been extremely oversold? Okay, right here, we had a very nice explosion and went to higher highs. Okay, we go back a little bit. We were oversold right here. What happened? Higher highs yet again. Is it guaranteed that we're going to go to higher highs? No, it's not. But historically speaking, if you just look at the Bitcoin chart, when we are extremely oversold, we almost always get some sort of a bounce. So everyone's saying that we're just heading into a bear market right now. I don't personally agree with that. I'm not saying it's impossible, but especially if you just zoom out on the weekly time frame, nothing has changed from a structural standpoint. You can very easily see that Bitcoin is still in a macro uptrend. Whenever we actually go into a bear market, you can see a full-on structural change. And if you just look at this current pullback right now, you can see that it looks like any of these other pullbacks. And believe me, all of these other pullbacks had a lot of people calling for a top as well. And the reason I'm also talking about this is because when you look at the crypto fear and greed index, we are extreme fear right now. You can see that we're at 20. And if you look at the other fear and greed index indicator that a lot of people look at, it's at like 23 this morning, which is also extreme fear. That's important because people are acting like Bitcoin is down at 30,000. But as we stand right now, Bitcoin is still 103,400. And again, the other thing that I forgot to point out from a technical analysis standpoint is just how important the 50-day actually is. Look at this previous pullback right here. We came down and retested what level? The 50 weekly moving average. Okay, you look at this pullback right here. What level did we come down and retest? The 50 weekly moving average. Okay, now you look at this current pullback. What level are we retesting right now? The 50 weekly moving average. That's what I had forgot to point out, but I just think there are a lot of things that would suggest we could absolutely go higher from here. And I've talked about it in almost all my previous videos, but market conditions are getting better and better. The Federal Reserve just announced that quantitative tightening is going to be ending on December 1st. And we just got consecutive rate cuts, and M2 global liquidity is still increasing. So I would be careful buying into the idea of us heading into a bear market right now. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but there are a lot of things that would suggest that it won't. But honestly, that's about it for the update today. I really just wanted to kind of explain what happened with CaptainBNB, because CaptainBNB was absolutely holding as one of the strongest projects in the market. We were seeing a lot of projects that were down 30, 40% in the last week, and that wasn't the case with Captain. Captain was holding up very well until this morning, and that's really just because one or two wallets sold about 50,000. But as always, if you guys are interested in Captain and market updates and just getting into projects super early in general, then I always recommend you take a look at my Discord. If you look at the all-time gainer list, we've hit some huge multipliers, and you can find the link to my Discord right here on my YouTube homepage. I'd love to have you guys in here with us. But that's about all. Let me know down in the comments how you guys are feeling about Captain. If you enjoyed this content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.